Chairperson, I just want to share with you why I decided to join a state-owned entity, and particularly Transnet, in 1994, after having had a promising career in banking, which included a stint in Wall Street in New York. At the dawn of our democracy, Chair, I was convinced that it was my duty to contribute what business skills I had to the growth and development of a new country, an opportunity which I believe is not afforded to many people. So addressing the national question from a perspective of creating a moderately prosperous nation has always been my guiding objective. The concept of helping to build a new country, therefore, was an exciting proposition post the success of the first democratically held elections in our country. At the heart of this excitement on my part was the possibility to contribute to the accelerated dismantling of the immoral apartheid system, and two, to create a new society where redress and the redistribution of wealth would help to bring about many previously marginalized people, especially Black people and women, to the mainframe of the economy, moving them from the periphery to the center. I was convinced that Transnet had the capability to contribute substantially to a sustainable developmental state. I believed, as I still do, that SOEs can make a contribution towards moving the masses of our people from the periphery to the center. The majority, who are largely participants in the second economy of have-nots, have the possibility to be assisted to move towards the first economy through deployment of state resources in a targeted, orderly, and considered way. Training, skills development, the promotion of supplier development hubs are at the forefront of a national initiative to improve the productive capacity of our country. In all my dealings, Chair, I have practiced principles of fairness, principles of ethical leadership, and I've played pivotal roles in the redress of the gross inequality in our country, and especially as it relates to youth employment and business opportunities. Those who have worked with me will attest to the positive energy that I've brought into the workplace to inspire young people to strive for excellence through believing in oneself in order for them to succeed. So I could never stand by and ignore the immorality of the concentration of our economy on a few elites. Our country, Chairperson, needs to continue the conversation of how more people can participate in the economy, especially strategies to address youth unemployment and to give hope to those who have never enjoyed the dividend of a stable democracy. We must continue the conversation of how we can unite our divided country by addressing the national question. You will, I'm sure, Mr. Chairman, agree, Chairperson, that the goal of a united nation living prosperously under a constitutional democracy remains a dream. I now turn briefly, and indeed not exhaustively, to deal with my achievements that I attained during my tenure at Transnet. My career in Transnet started in 1994, Mr. Chair. There are some who would want you to believe that it started when Minister Gigaba assumed the position of Minister of Public Enterprises. It's not true. I've worked as a senior executive at Transnet under various ministers, including the late Minister Stella Stow, Minister Jeff Kadebe, Minister Alec Ewin, Minister Bridget Mabandla, and Hogan, prior to Gigaba's appointment. Chairperson, during this time, I worked as a senior executive under many chief executives, and also I worked as a chief executive myself of various divisions within Transnet. But also there were group executives such as Saki Makozom, Mafika Mkwanas, Maria Ramos, and lastly, Brian Molife, that I served. When I was appointed as the chief executive of Spornet, which is the largest division of Transnet, I was specifically approached by the then group chief executive, Maria Ramos, in 2005, to intervene and apply my skills and expertise to affect a turnaround to Spornet. I welcomed the opportunity because it was part of my dream unfolding. In the year that I joined Spornet, they had made a loss of 100 million, despite a turnover of some 13 billion rand at the end of March. And to me, it was a travesty that you could have such a huge turnover and not make money, not make a profit. And it was one of the things that I declared to everybody that we will not make a profit again. So from that day onwards, we worked hard, 16 to 18 hours a day, to make sure that we turn around that business. The following year, Now, let me just say that during the preceding period, the 5-year period before I went to Sportnet, I had been running the Port Authority division of Transnet, which was the largest contributor to profitability in the Transnet Group. During 2007, which was 2 years after I'd been appointed as Sportnet, the division was renamed Transnet Freight Rail, TFR. It also became the largest contributor to the profits of Transnet in 2008, which was 3 years after I had joined. So under my stewardship, TFR overtook the Port Authority division and became the leading division at Transnet in terms of profitability. I have documented some of the successes that I and my team managed to bring to the railways by 2008. The success can be attributed, Chairperson, to our proper understanding of Transnet's operations, which we documented and which contributed to a sustainable overall performance of the group. If I were to highlight a few other milestones and achievements that I obtained during my tenure at Transnet, it would be noted that Transnet became the first ever SOE to be accredited and certified as a top employer by the Top Employers Institute. TFR won the Best African Railway Operator Awards for 2 years running between 2011 and 2012. I was the National Business Leader of the Year in 2008. I was also the Young Business Leader of the Year in 2004, which is awards that are awarded by the National Business Awards. At TFR, in conjunction with the Glasgow Caledonian University and the University of Johannesburg, we spearheaded and introduced the first ever university-accredited railway qualification in operations management, up to master's level. We launched the first ever Chief Executive Talent Nurturing Program for future leaders. And we prided ourselves in achieving year-on-year growth in revenue and profit, always far above CPI. We won various logistics national awards and even international accolades for the longest trains, 375 wagon manganese trains as an example. I have been inducted, Chairperson, to the Global Hall of Fame for my contribution to work in the maritime sector. I've also held positions as the president of both the Pan-African Ports Association between 2003 and 2004, which is the Continental Association of all ports in Africa. I was also the president of the Union of African Railways between 2006 and 2009, and I hold the title of a lifetime president, honorary lifetime president of the railway. And in 2003, Chairperson, in Durban, we hosted the World Ports Conference, which was the first time that this type of conference had ever been hosted on the continent of Africa.